Okay, this is video 3 for test number 3 on January 24th. We are now up to sheet number 9. Okay, the Chomer, the material for sheet number 9 is Dvarim Perek Vav, Perek 15, Psukim Zayin through Yud Aleph. I think that might be a mistake. Let's just check if it's really Zayin through Yud Aleph. So let's go over here, and it actually is, yes, Zayin through Yud Aleph is correct. So let's look at the Psukim for a second before we go to the sheet. The Torah tells us, Ki yabecha evyon, if there's a very poor, destitute person, very poor, me'achad achecha ba'achad sha'arecha, one of my brothers in one of the places where I live, in the land that God has given me, I shouldn't harden my heart, I shouldn't close my hands from my brother who's destitute, who's poor. I should open up my hands. And I should give him a loan, according to that which he is lacking. Pasuk Tet, all of a sudden, it says, watch out, Hishamalacha. Maybe you'll have something really, really mean in your heart saying, so at the end of the year of Shemitah, there's something called Shmitat Ksafim, which means all loans are canceled. So therefore, a person's going to come, there's a poor person that needs a loan, and it's coming to Shnata Shemitah, the end of Shnata Shemitah, the guy's going to say, I'm not giving him a loan, and I'm never going to see my money again. And so the Torah says, watch out, don't think like that. And you're gonna have a bad eye towards your friend, the Avyon, the poor person, not going to want to give him money, because you're afraid you're going to lose it. The Kara Alech al Hashem, he is going to dive into Hashem, and you're going to be responsible. Pasuk Yud, Natan Titain Lo. Make sure you give him under all circumstances. And shouldn't be done with a ro alev, with a bad heart. Because if you give away money, then God will give you a bracha. But if you keep it for yourself, then eventually that money will not give you any bracha, will not give you any blessing at all. So let's take a look at the questions that we asked and see what we learned over here. Okay, so first, just what Shmitat Ksafim was. Shmitat Ksafim means at the end of the 7th year, all loans are canceled. The idea was to give people a fresh start, and that if he canceled their loans, a poor person, then maybe he'll be able to get back on his feet. What is the Torah afraid of happening? People are not going to want to lend him money. Imagine the 7th year is coming, and this guy needs a loan. I'm not going to want to lend him money. We're afraid of losing it. Okay, today we have ways of addressing the sphere. I'm not going to go into it right now. Puzbal, I'm not holding you responsible. What I am holding you responsible is the Rambam that we learned. We're going to learn the psukim in the eyes of the Rambam, how the Rambam learns different things from the words in our psukim. The first thing is mitzvat aseh litain tzedakah la'aniyim k'fi ma'asher ro'ei la'ani. It's a positive commandment to give tzedakah to the poor person as to what he needs. If you have enough money to. Shne'emar, because it says in the pasuk, Pata'ach tiftach et yerchalal. So again, you have to know what the psukim say, because I could ask you, what does the Rambam learn from the pasuk, Pata'ach tiftach et pasuk ki Pata'ach tiftach et yerchalal, which means that there's a mitzvah say, there's a positive commandment that if I have money, that I should share it with the ani. That's a pasuk ki patoach tiftach et yachalal. I have to go ahead and I have to open up my hands. So please make sure that when you see the psukim, you know what the psukim teach us. Next, if somebody sees a poor person that's asking for money, you sort of like look the other way. But on the tzedakah, you refuse to give them tzedakah. Avar below taseh, you have transgressed a mitzvah lo taseh, a negative command in the Torah. Shenemar, because it says in the Torah, Lo ta'ametzat lebacha v'lo tikbot et yacha me'achicha evyon. You cannot harden your heart and you can't close your hand from your brother. So again, the Rambam quotes this pasuk from pasuk Zayin. Yet if you look at the end of pasuk Zayin, Lo ta'ametzat lebacha v'lo tikbot et yacha me'achicha evyon. That is a mitzvah lo ta'aseh. That is a negative commandment that one is not allowed to harden their hearts and close their hands and refuse to give something to the evyon, to the poor person. Going on in the Rambam. Whatever the ani is missing, you have to try to give it to him. If he doesn't have clothing, get him clothing. If he doesn't have things for the kitchen or whatever, buy him pots and pans. If he's not married, you try to find him wife. If it's a female that's not married, you try to find him a nice husband. If you had a person that was very rich and he was used to having fancy horses and some attendant running in front of him, and then became poor, and he doesn't have money anymore, so you go ahead and you try to put him back on the same economic stature that he was used to. And these are the key words. De machsaro asher yachsar lo. Okay, which again is the words from the psukim. We'll see it in a second here. If we go ahead and look in pasuk chet, ki patoach et tiftach et yachal lo, open up your hands, va'abeit havino, give him alone, de machsaro asher yachsar lo, that which he is missing. So if he was a very rich person and now he can't afford anything, you have to try to keep him in his nice house. You don't say, well, go to a very low rent house, because he can't take that. And so you have a very interesting mitzvah of tzedakah, even for a wealthy person that Yorab min Chasav, who lost his wealth, are trying to keep his social norm in place. And at the end of the Ram, it says, you have to try to give him what he's lacking, not to make him rich. Okay, the next thing we learn, that tzedakah is equally important for giving the aniyim of the non-Jewish world together with the poor people who happen to be Jews. And these are important words with Nei Darkei Shalom. The Nei Darkei Shalom. The Nei Darkei Shalom means in order to keep peace in the neighborhood. If all of a sudden we're just supporting the Jewish population, the non-Jews are going to get very upset. And therefore we're allowed to do a lot of things to go ahead and to create a sense of shalom, of peace in the neighborhood. The Rambam says at the bottom of the page, we never heard of any city or Jewish community that did not have its tzedakah fund going in order to help the poor. Next, you have to go ahead and you have to be careful about mitzvah tzedakah more than any other positive commandment. Because if you get tzedakah, you show that you are from the children of Avraham. Because it says Hashem told to Avraham in Parshat Vayera, when Kadosh Baruch Hu was contemplating of destroying Sodom, he says, I have to tell Abraham. Why? Underline words, because I know he's going to teach his children differently. He's going to teach his children to be charitable. So to be charitable shows that you are a member of the Jewish people. Don't worry, you're never going to become poor for giving too much tzedakah. And nothing bad is ever going to happen to you because you gave too much tzedakah. Anybody that sort of like ignores the mitzvah of tzedakah, so it's given a very, very strong word in the Torah. So the word in the Torah, and you'll see in Pasuk Tet, Hishamar lacha, watch out, pen yed davar im lacha b'li ya'al. So this word b'li ya'al is a supercharged word. It's only used one other place in the Torah regarding avodah zarah. So if you don't want to give tzedakah, it's comparable to worshiping avodah zarah, because both those are the only two things in the Torah called b'li ya'al. Commotion akra oved akum, someone that worships avodah zarah b'li ya'al. Shmonem ma'alot yesh b'tzedakah zula mala mizu. So the Rambam has a ladder of 8 ways of giving tzedakah. The top of the ladder, the best way. The top rung is machzik biyad Yisrael shemach. You have a Jew that got poor. Go ahead and give him money in order that he could be able to go ahead and start a business. You give him a present or a loan, or you become a partner, or mosilo malacha, or you give him a job, in order to strengthen his hand, so he doesn't even have to ask for tzedakah. That's the best thing to catch it early. And you shouldn't even have to ask for tzedakah. Okay, the next of the Shmoneh Ma'alot, pachot mizeh, one down, hanotein tzedakah laniyim. If a person gives tzedakah, you don't know who you're giving it to, and the poor person doesn't know who's giving it to him. That's a mitzvah l'shma for its own purpose. Pachot mizeh, one down. I know how I'm giving it to you, but the ani, the poor person, has no idea who gave it to him. Pachot mizeh, one down. If a person knows from whom he got it, but the person who gave the money has no idea who's giving it to. Everybody knows everybody else, but you give it to him even before he has to ask. You just give it the money in his hand. One down is that you give it to him after he asks. He has to ask, but you give him the money. One down from there, don't give him really what you should be giving him, but at least you give it with a smile. The bottom, that you give it tzedakah, but you give it and that you're sad, and it shows, and it makes everybody feel bad. The end, the last words of the Rambam are Gedolei Chachamim, the great rabbis, not rabbis, but smart people. Before they daven, they did the mitzvah tzedakah. Then you daven. You want a Baruch Hu to answer you. Take care of the next person. Quoting a pasuk, I will go ahead and see your face b'tzedek when you've done tzedakah. And that's why it's a great idea to get tzedakah in the mornings we collect it in school. And thank you very much. Hope you enjoy.